Hey everyone, it's Jessica, and this is your Gracious Health stretching routine for your lower back and your lower body. Today, to get started, we're going to be in a nice lunge position. So we'll start on our hands and knees. Go ahead and bring one leg out in front. We're going to try to get a nice deep stretch. So we're going to try to really bend that knee a whole bunch, even bringing it past our toes a little bit. Just kind of stretching it out. If you have something next to you or really good at balancing, feel free to be upright and get an even more stretch and put more weight through that leg. Keep lifting through your core. You don't want to be like just dumping all your weight, but really just try to be conscious about lifting and just breathing deep. I'm going to read our verse for today, which is Isaiah 1:16. Wash and make yourselves clean. Take your evil deeds out of my sight. Stop doing evil things. Let you take a nice couple deep breaths here. Just two more. All right, and then you're going to put our hands down. We're going to walk that foot to the opposite side of the mat. And we're going to adjust that back leg so you can kind of relax down. You should get a nice stretch in this hip over here. Try to keep those toes of your bent leg engaged. So keeping them like extended back towards your leg. We're just going to go ahead and lower down here. You can lower all the way down, or you can stay up. It's up to you. And just keep breathing. And I want you to think about this verse and think about how even though God said, go like wash, which would be like the ceremonial cleaning, he made it like incremental steps. So it was like, wash yourself. And then he was like, don't do this in front of me. Take this out of my sight. And he's like, stop doing evil things. So these, just washing yourselves and just not doing it in front of God isn't enough. You have to just completely stop doing it. It's really a change of heart. And because in the Old Testament, there was more like, oh, God's in the temple. They didn't. I mean, I'm sure there was people who knew of his omnipresence, but there was definitely very much like, don't do this in the temple. But then when we expand further out, it's like, stop doing this altogether and really just think about that repentant heart that really changes the direction where they're going, changes their behaviors. It's not just this outward, washing. It's an inward transformation that God's after. So take a couple of breaths here as we reflect on that. You can feel free if you've been in a spot, you might feel like you can go a little bit lower. If you want to, go for it. If not, just hang out. I'm going to go a little lower, take a couple breaths. All right, last deep breath. And then as you slowly lift out of it, you're going to walk that back leg in, lift those hips up. And they're going to join each other, join those knees next to each other. Then we're going to do the opposite side. So bring that opposite leg forward. So again, we're going to start with that nice lunge. Really try to stretch out both this front hip flexor and a little bit of your Achilles and your ankle a little bit. You might feel a little bit of a stretch. Feel free to lift up. Again, I'm going to hold on to this. You can kind of bounce a little bit, keeping your hips pointing forward and still that lifting sensation. Don't just dump and relax everything over. And I want you to think about maybe ways where you might be ceremonially clean, but you still keep doing those evil things, and just invite God to really cleanse you and to give you the strength to overcome those things that you don't want to be doing. my knee was bothering me. If your knee is bothering you, feel free to like double up your mat or whatever, or just readjust. For me, it was just a bad position. It happens, and then just go ahead and hold a spot when you feel like you got a good spot. Keep lifting up and breathing. My hips are definitely tight. I know this is definitely an intense stretch, but I definitely feel it. But keep trying to relax your face, even if it is really hard or, painful at all. If it's painful, you can always back up. I mean, even just doing like a more standard one, just keep squeezing your glutes. Even if you're here, don't worry about it. If you feel a stretch, well, that might indicate that's why you might have some back pain if you're here because you have a little bit of back pain. But you really want to just honor where your body is. Stretch it the way you can. Just keep relaxing. Drop your shoulders. Relax your face. We're almost done. Just going to take one more breath because I know you guys were in a little longer than I was. And then relax. All right. So again, we're lifting our hips so we can walk this foot over to the other side. I kind of have to help that leg a little bit. Previous surgeries and injuries, I'm working on it, but it is what it is right now. And I don't have that much flexibility. The closer your foot is to your body, the less flexible the person is. You can't really get much closer. But if you're like here, I have to cheat because there's no way I could do this. If you're like here and they're like relaxed down, they are a very flexible person. All right. So go ahead, find a nice comfy spot. Take a couple deep breaths. Maybe just your foot. You can walk it out if you need a little bit more stretch. As you go into it, you'll probably get a little bit more flexible and be able to go a little further out. Just not in the books for me today. A little tight. It happens. So just relax. And just maybe even think about areas that you haven't even done any kind of cleaning that you want to invite God in. And really just make right now be a decision where you can repent and change and just invite Him in. Feel free to lower down if it feels good. I know you're probably like, why do you go down so far if you can't get your leg further out? It's because it feels better on my back, truly. When I'm up here, it's so much conscious effort, and then it's like, oh, this hip's tight. So it's just a cascading effect. That this, I can feel the stretch in the one spot that I want to stretch. So that's why I'm here. So I'm gonna go ahead and relax. All right, last 2 breaths. All right, and then we're gonna relax out of that. And we're gonna go ahead and go to our backs. Go down with nice and controlled. We're gonna go ahead and bring those knees to our chest. You can rock a little bit here, side to side. This might feel really good. We've just stretched our hips a little bit. You can do little circles with just your knees. Go both ways. If you like going front and back, feel free to have a little fun, rock and roll. Just kind of just see the connection between your hips and your back, seeing how when you're closer, your low back might lift up off the ground. All right, and if you're moving and grooving, go ahead and take a little pause. We're just gonna do a couple of, head to knees. So we're gonna bring our head towards our knees, be a little ball, and then relax. Do it 2 more. Bring it, your head in, squeeze, 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 and then relax. Last one. And then relax down. So we're just gonna keep one knee in, then extend the other leg out. What we're gonna do here, again, you might just feel out like, oh, we just did a lot of work on that hip. Kind of do a couple little circles here. Feel that out a little bit. You can even think about this bottom leg, really trying to press that leg into the floor, feeling like you've got a wall right at the other side that you're standing on. All right, and then we're going to switch, but we're going to switch by bringing in both knees and then extending the other leg out. That helps to protect your back a little bit because you're never in this fully extended position. So your back staying in contact with the ground the whole time. It's a little bit more support. All right, do a couple little, oh, this foot can be relaxed. Mine was not relaxed. All right. And now here, what we're gonna do is we're going to get into a nice, keeping our knees bent, sorry. We're gonna have our hands out to the side. They can be bent or they can be straight out. It's up to you. I feel like my shoulders like a little bent right now. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to drop our knees to one side. I sometimes shimmy my shoulders so my body's in a straighter line. So I'll go towards where my legs were because my hips moved there. So go ahead and just get a nice stretch in your upper back, your thoracic spine. Just relax here. Nice couple deep breaths, thinking about that opposite shoulder and opposite hip kind of coming further apart and stretching. And while the side that's closer to the ground is not collapsing, it's also kind of stretching along with it. They're just kind of being pulled. Again, if anything hurts you, don't do it. You're in charge of you. It's your body. You know how you're feeling. You know what you're going through. So don't do anything that causes pain. If you want, you can go ahead and look away from your legs. So for me, it'll be my right. Dropping your shoulders down to the mat. One more breath. And then to get out of it, you want to go nice and slow. So you want to try to get your back onto the mat as soon as you can. But you might want to also bring in your knees a little bit. You can have your hands kind of help you because your legs are kind of heavy. And then you're back to neutral. I'm going to shift over a little bit so I don't hit these nice drawers. So again, we're going to lift our feet in. You can kind of have your hands to help guide you into the position. If your core doesn't want to work, or you're just in pain and you don't want to think you're being cautious, I have my hand on my leg. This kind of helps to weight it a little bit, get a deeper stretch as I relax into the pose. And then when I feel good, I can go ahead and go back to a nice T position. Really trying to press your shoulder and opposite hip. Shoulder goes into the ground, your opposite hip is just pulling away. You're getting pulled, a nice stretch. And again, that hand can be a nice extra little weight. If you don't use your hand, just go ahead and try it. See if you like it. You might be surprised that it feels good, or you might be right and it doesn't feel good. Doesn't matter. Just gonna do a couple more breaths here. Right, 3, 2, 1. And we're gonna slowly use our hands to help our legs get out of this position. And then we're gonna go ahead and be a nice little ball. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then relax. Do one more. You can allow your head to really bend here. Tucking your chin into your chest. All right. And relax back down. All right. Well, that was your little stretching routine. I hope it was relaxing, and I hope you were able to connect with God. And thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you soon. Bye.